It was burglary when the reverse not wrong that you wrong being chucked in Australia. Sir.
Welcome to the Watchman News. So my review video probably stirred up a little bit of confusion. It might even caused a little bit of butt hurt. Let me go into this much deeper. Let me take you through step by step, and let me show you that review video was in no way a reflection of my thoughts on Ecoflow or even the Ecoflow blade. The blade is an incredible product. Okay, but there are limitations, which is why they have you take a test on their site to see whether or not it's a good fit for you. I'm going to roll in some footage of a drone flying over my property, and you will see there is a large tree that takes up about most of my property. Okay, I'm also going to show you from the ground. Okay, and then I'm going to show you an overhead view with my property, outlined with the red box. That way you can see what it is that I'm dealing with exactly. So, okay, now that we have got that out of the way, you need to understand that this property is no way, shape, or form an ideal yard for this product. And that is what it is. That just is what it is. It's not anything against the product. It's not anything against Ecoflow. It's just limitations. And, life has limitations. So, let me show you set up from the get-go. Let me show you, best case scenarios that I can on getting signal reception. And as well as I'm going to show you, the ways that you can get the most out of it, the ways I figured out to get the most out of it. Look, I've got hours and hours and hours of time working with this machine. And so I've had to figure out what works best, what, doesn't work so hot. And, it is what it is. My hope is that I can, let you guys know what the limitations are and why, and B, so that if you have not as many obstacles as what I have here, but if you have some obstacles that you're dealing with as far as this product, maybe my setup video will show you a few tips and tricks on how to get the most out of it. So this is by no means a bad product. This thing is absolutely incredible. But it has to have GPS reception. It has to. There's no two ways about it. And it can make do, it can get by if it loses GPS for little bits at a time. But if it has to go an extended period of time without GPS, and especially if you've got like a slope in your terrain, you're going to start seeing issues. And that's what I'm going to show you. Again, it's in no way a negative reflection on the product or the company. It's an incredible product, but like I said, everything in life has limitations, and unfortunately my property goes beyond the limitations of this device. So let's go ahead and get started, okay? I'm going to open up the Ecoflow app here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into the blade, and I am going to real quick come in here, and I'm going to go to, I believe it's mower settings, and I'm going to do a factory reset. Okay. So this is going to reset the mower just as if it was brand new, right out of the box. In fact, it'll pop back up for me to add it here momentarily after it finishes rebooting. I'll enjoy a little bit of coffee out of my Ecoflow vacuum cup while I wait. Yum, yum.
Power on. Let's start a new journey.
Okay, and there you see it popped up for me to add the blade. Let's go ahead and get it add. It says it's linked to another account. It's actually linked to my account. So,
Bluetooth connected.
Now it tells you the Bluetooth's connected. It will tell you that when you connect with it. So it's going to tell you about assembling the product, okay? So let's go ahead and go over that. it says the antenna is assembled and charging station has power and the mower is charging. So real quick, let's go over that a little bit. I've got the antenna assembled, but it's not necessarily where it's going to be going. So, because I'm going to move it to a spot that I believe is better ideal than where it is now. So here's the antenna, and if you watch my unboxing video, you'll see that there's a base that has like 3 stakes in it. There's a couple of poles that screw together, and then there's your antenna module itself right here, and then that's got a connector that's down in here, and that connector of course connects to the cable. The cable of course runs over to the base. Okay, simple, simple, simple. So that is catching you up to speed is where we are on assembly. So let me go ahead and pop this up out of the ground, and we're gonna tell it we're complete on that. I've got the antenna in my hands here, and we're gonna tell it we're complete on that, and we're gonna search device positioning satellite signal. Okay, that's our next step. We're going to click start, and see, just right out of the gate, we're already doing pretty well here. This antenna does pick up well. There's no issues that I've seen with this antenna. This antenna is incredible. So I'm just trying to see where I can get it. I had 87 for a moment there. I was kind of hoping we could get that. 84, 88, 86, 88, 89. You know what? I think we're going to go right here. So, and yeah, it goes down because I'm stepping in front of it. I'm just putting the antenna down in the thing here. Okay, so that's down. And we're going to click start fixing antenna. Okay, then it's basically going to tell you to do what I just did. So next we are going to we have to do a mower practice. Okay, so let's come on over to the mower. Hi, Mr. Mower. Okay, now what we have to do is click start here, and it's going to back off the dock. And the first order of business is it's going to have us turn it, rotate the mower. So let's go ahead and start making a turn here. And once you do that, it's good, and it's going to ask you to move it forward. So we're going to move it forward. It's going to have you do that for 5 seconds. And that's done. So we click complete. Now we're going to search for where we are going to put the base at. Okay, so I'm going to click start. It's going to give us a way to drive the mower here. So we're going to manually drive the mower, and we are going to find a suitable spot. And I had it right here because even though it's underneath of a tree, you see that signal? So even though it's underneath of a tree, it does pretty good there. A lot of times it'll stay above 80. So right now it's struggling around the 70s. I can look for a better spot, but I'm going to be a little bit limited on where I can go, and because I don't have a lot more wire there for my antenna. But we can most certainly drive around here and see if we can get something a little more. $78. Boy, that's saying a strong 78, is it not? 79. Let me pull it up. I won't get it as good with the mower. There's just no way I will get it as good with the mower. Okay, let me see if I can move that base, if I've got enough wire, I believe I do, to move it to where that mower is currently setting, because that's a pretty decent signal right there. So let me do that, and I will be back because I have to pull these up. And let me do that. I'll pull those up and then I'll show you about putting the base down. So I will see you in just a moment. Alrighty, welcome back. We are going to go ahead and stake our base down. What I've done so far is, from earlier, we got our antenna staked down over there, and we've got the cable coming to the base. And then what I did is I took all the excess cable and it's up underneath the base. I just kind of coiled it up and put it up underneath the base, and I did the same as well with the power cable here. All of the extra is in the base. Okay, so in your kit you will have two types of stakes. You will have these kind here, and you will also have an Allen wrench that's in with your manual. Okay, you'll have those kind of stakes, and you will have these kind of stakes. Okay, so these are for the base, to screw the base down, and these here are for the cable, to make sure that you cinch the cable down tight to the ground so that the mower doesn't cut it. So anyway, we are going to start out with these type. I am going to go ahead and use those that I've already gotten good and dirty. And this is going to be your biggest tip when doing this, because these are plastic, and that is a hex head. And well, plastic and hex heads don't always mix well. So in order to prevent you from stripping that out, what you'll want to do, what I found to do, is I took a long screwdriver, okay? And I'm just going to screw it down in 4 places. But I take the screwdriver and I just twist the screwdriver down in there, because it's clearly hard. There's clearly stuff down in there that's giving me a fit. I just shove the screwdriver down in there, and then that screw will go in much easier than if I didn't make a pilot hole. So that's what I advise you to do, especially if you have, you know, anything kind of hard or anything like that. That's a little harder than it is most places here. I don't know what the deal was in that spot, but that was a tad hard. Okay, got my Allen out, and I'm going to go over to the opposite corner here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take my screwdriver here, and I'm going to shove it down, give it some twists. Okay. Put the screw in just like that. There we go. I wasn't down in there all the way. I didn't want to strip it out. Okay. And I made my power cable run to this side of that screw, because I don't want it running out the rear of the deck, because the mower's got to constantly go over that in order to park for charge. Hello.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Good.
Alrighty. Our base is now staked down. Next, we need to stake down or wires. And for that, we're going to want these, and we are going to want a hammer. So first thing I want to do is I want to put a stake in near the base here on both cables. That way we know that we're starting out with something that's staked down. I'm going to do that. And I want to do it right there next to the edge also, because that way if the mower gets near it, it's less likely to be able to get caught in it. It does happen. It's happened on this particular cable. What's hidden underneath the deck is my repair job I did. Okay, let's go ahead and grab our stakes here. And what we want to do is we're going to want to look for high spots. We're going to look for spots to where the wire is going to be kind of hanging up off the ground a little ways. And we want to make sure that those spots are staked down. So what I do is I just come through and I find the low spot. Like if you look through here, right, there'll be, and I don't know how well you can tell, but right here there's a little rise in the terrain. So I'm going to put one stake right here. If I can get it out of my finger. Okay, I got one stake right there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow it. I'm going to follow it until it clearly is going to be above the ground or cause an issue. And I believe that's going to be right here is going to be the spot. Well, yep, I'm going to have one right there. So I'm going to take and I'm going to stake it down there and go along. And here, not super far away, I've got to put another one because of the terrain difference in the height. So we'll put another one right here. And you don't want to hit it so hard that you bury the cable into the ground, because you could damage the wire if you do that. So kind of be easy there. Okay, I'm gonna put one right here. And I'm going to go ahead and just put one right here. Okay. And then up at the base of the antenna right here, I'm going to put one. I hear the police. I didn't do it. I was innocent. I was playing with my mower. All right. Let me grab my others here. And this doesn't look bad. I got a couple more over there. So probably about here. Maybe about here. Oh, about here maybe. And I think we might be good there. I do believe we're good to go. Okay. Let's push the mower up on there.
Start charging.
And of course, I got it all down there like that. And my signal goes crazy. There it went. Okay. I don't know what the deal was, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to click fix it. And that's about the best I'm going to get, folks, as far as the mower. Okay. So it told me to basically put it back up on the charger. It already is. It does have GPS. The tail light is blue. We're going to click complete. And then it's going to want to create a map. So we will do that. I will be right back and we'll make that map happen. Alrighty, welcome back. Let's go ahead and get to making a map. So we're going to click create a map for the mower. Making sure it's going to go through and run its checks to make sure it's all good. I'm going to click start mapping and map working area. It's going to count down from 3 and back off the dot. Alright. So it's going to say manually control the mower to the edge of the lawn. Then click start to start mapping. So we're going to click got it. And we're going to do that very thing. Now I'm going to show you the tips and tricks that I have found when it comes to mapping to be able to create a good map. So here's the thing. This device needs good data to work from. If you don't provide a good data to work from, then you're only going to get as good as the map as you make. So if you do have an issue with GPS, like I do, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you, anytime you make a curve, or turn I should say, or anytime that you make a big difference in your location in any way, maybe want to stop for a little bit, maybe even see if you can get that tail light to turn blue momentarily. So sometimes if you wait it will, sometimes it won't. It's a toss up, and so that's what I do. I just do my best to be able to get a GPS signal. And let me try to turn the mower this way a little bit, because that's going to be the direction I go anyway. I'm really hoping that I can get that tail light at least to lock in blue, even just for a moment, in its current location. And we should be able to, because it's not too bad. And I know this corner, like I say, I've got hours of working with this, so it's blue now. I figure there's fairly a good chance. So let me get back down there. We're going to click start on the app.
Start setting up a working area.
The mower said start setting up a working area. And so we are just going to oops, I don't know why it did that. But we're just going to real easy like go around here. And I am going to go straight back this way. And at some point we'll probably lose the GPS, probably here soon. Yep, there it goes. But I'm just going to keep on going. But I'm also not doing anything that would cause the wheels to spin or anything like that. So as long as the wheels aren't spinning like crazy, it's going to have a pretty good idea of where it is on the map. So now I'm going to come here and I'm going to turn slightly and I'm going to stop. And what I'm trying to do, let me get out from between it and the antenna. And I've heard conflicting things on that, by the way, on that antenna, whether you want it to be line of sight or not. The last I've heard, it supposedly, see, we got GPS there. It supposedly doesn't matter necessarily if it's line of sight. It just has to be in a certain area, a certain range from the mower. So I can't tell you anything definitive on that. So, okay, so we do have GPS lock. I'm going to move forward. Hopefully we can keep that lock for a little bit here, because this here can be a tricky spot. And we're just going to come up to here and we're going to start our turn. Nice, easy turn. We've got GPS still, which is good. And we're going to come around. Neighbor's landscaping there. And see our wheel spun a little bit. And I'm telling you now, it's going to be a little bit off of the map as a result. And I'm just going to let it sit there and see if it pulled a GPS back, because from my experience, that is not a GPS black hole right there. And a lot of times if you let it sit for a moment, it can grab it in that spot. So and I don't wait too long before I continue on if it doesn't give me anything. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move up through here, and we'll probably lock a GPS signal here in just a moment. Normally when I turn this way, it will somehow magically get it in that particular spot. I don't know. It's really odd. It is really odd. There's spots out in the wide open. You would think it would be able to get it easy. It won't get it. There are spots to where it's up under a tree and it gets it. So it's very weird. Alright, nothing yet. So let's go ahead and go forward. I don't expect to have a whole lot of GPS lockage for a little bit yet. Okay, let me move the dog's cable there. Wheel spun a little bit there. So I'm going to come there. Here's a helicopter flying over. Most likely the medical chopper. Although that sounds a little mean. It locked GPS there. Good deal. Yeah, it's the med chopper. Locked GPS there. So we're going to move forward a little bit. And I'm going to see if we can by chance get it to lock for a moment here, because it would really be nice. Maybe pull it up a little bit there, because we're going to be making a turn. We got GPS. Sweet! We're getting GPS in all the right spots, so that is awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to come through here, and I'm going to make my left-hand turn here. Notice a little bit of wheel spinach, so we're going to make note of that. We're just going to come forward here. And we are going to start our turn this way. And I'm going to see if we can possibly lock a GPS signal there. That would be really, really nice if we could. Boy, I'll tell you what, it's really locking them in some good places on this, creating this map. That's awesome. I'm glad to see that. Because like I said at the beginning of making this map, having an accurate map is critical. If you don't have that accurate map to start with, the rest is just shot. You have to have that accurate map. Okay, so let me move forward. Oh, we locked GPS there for a moment, so that's good. I saw it just for a moment. And we're going to come up here, and I'm going to turn. I'm going to come forward a little bit and start to turn here. I'm trying to get up close to the house. close to that. Well, not that close. Okay, we're gonna stop right there for a moment and see if we can get a GPS lock. That one's gonna be a little iffy, to be honest. Maybe not. Let me pull forward a little bit. See if maybe we can get one in here. It would be nice to be able to lock it before we get up to that next corner. Nope, nothing yet, so we'll go ahead and move forward. Now there we should definitely be able to get a lock. I'm wanting to kind of get our initial lock before we get up to where our turn is, so that way the turn itself isn't so far off. But she is just not wanting to give us any joy, is she? Okay, we'll move forward a little bit then. See if maybe now that's enough. You can see the grass where it's lighter colored there. That's where the base was previously set up when it was set up for the neighbor's yard here. And it does really good over there. Mower it really does an incredible job over there. Actually shocked at how well it does. Okay, it's just not wanting to give us any joy at all, is it? Okay, so let's go ahead and pull on up to where we're going to turn at. Okay, right here. Now I'm just going to see if possibly right there just a little bit of a difference. Sometimes it can make a difference. It's odd. And you know, I think the specific times of day makes a difference. I think there are different times where you have different satellites, and you know, I don't know how all that works. But, oh, there we go. Joy, joy, happy, happy, joy, joy. Let's make our left-hand turn. No. Left-hand turn. Come on. And see, that's why I wanted that. You see how much those tires spun when I was turning it? Well, if it didn't have that GPS fix, it's going to be off on the map. So let me move forward here, and I'm going to do my best to stay right up here on this edge so you can see I'm not doing anything like crazy, like mapping it out in the street or anything like that. Right on the edge of the property here, the best I can hug it. And I could map that as a no-go zone, but I'm not going to, because I want you to see how well it navigates stuff like that. I mean, yeah, of course it struggles. I mean, geez, look at that. But it will navigate it. It will manage it. See how much those wheels are spinning? Every revolution, without it moving forward the approximate distance that it would on a revolution, makes it get off. So we're gonna pull up right here because we're nearing where we started the map. So I would really like to get a GPS lock right here as we come up onto that finishing point. It would be nice. And maybe it's not going to give us any joy. How far does it say we are away? You can zoom in, you know, do the whole pinch thing and pinch spread, whatever you want to call it. So it says we got to go 3 foot forward. And I'm not in complete agreement with that. That's not too bad. So let's go ahead and move forward. And see, it's going to pop up. It's going to tell me approaching starting point. Tap complete to save map. I'm going to say got it. And I'm going to drive up a little closer though. I want the mower on that starting point, well on that starting point like that, okay? And I'm going to click complete. And are you sure? Yes, I am sure. Okay, and we're not going to do a restricted zone, they're calling it. So we're just going to click start mowing. Okay? It says please bind the device first. Set up automated task. Next. Got it. Okay. Alright. I do believe. Let me go ahead and tell it to go home to its base. I'm going to click end.
Start recharging.
You heard it say start recharging. Take off for the dock over there. It might have gotten off where it thought it was there, possibly. Because I think it thought it went forward a little bit further than it did. See, and this is why I don't have the wires running out of the rear of the dock. Okay, I have the wires running out of the sides of the dock for this reason right here that you're seeing. Let me get out of its way because it doesn't realize where it's at, and it will. It'll figure it out. It'll be fine. Here, let me help it. I'm going to click pause. Manual control. Let me get it out away from the dock because what happened is, I don't know if you saw it slip. It had a major slip and it thought it was further away from the dock than it was. So, again, GPS is critical. And when you lose GPS, it has to rely on the RTK. And the RTK is fine as long as you don't have wheel slippage and stuff. So that's when it becomes an issue. Okay, let me click back. And we got GPS. I'm going to click continue. It'll find itself and it'll dock in just a moment here. It'll be fine. I don't know why it decided to turn back our way, but it's all good. He's heading on home now. They usually don't have too many problems docking, so usually not too bad with it. Kind of trying to size itself up for that dock. Oh. There you go.
Start charging.
So it is charging. We'll go ahead and let it charge up, and then I'll be right back out to show you how it mows. Alright, welcome back to the mow video. Now I want to emphasize before I even start that I am not saying that it's a bad product. What I am saying is I have a bad yard or bad conditions for the product. The product's great, okay, but you have to work within the envelope of the product, right? And obviously with my trees, that kind of leaves much to be desired. So There's no GPS connection at this time. We're going to go ahead and we're going to open up our Ecoflow app here. We're going to connect to the blade. And it doesn't have GPS right this moment. What I'm going to do is let it get started. I will pause it in the beginning, somewhere where I know it'll pick up the GPS, and I'll let it get acquired. And then I'm going to start it, and I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it do its thing. So let me go ahead, and we need to check our settings. I haven't done that yet. So let's go into the app here. And normal mow. We're going to take the height to 2.5 inches here. And going to go ahead and we'll make it a quick mow. Okay, and I'm going to click save. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my settings and I'm going to click work preferences. And in there I'm going to click edge work mode. Okay, and I'm going to turn it on. And I'm going to move it down to 2.3 inches. And I'm going to rotate that up until 1. We only need it to do 1 lap. And that ought to be good to go. So, I do believe we are ready to do some mowing. So like I said, we don't have GPS now. I'll try to get it to acquire somewhere before it really gets going. Just so you know from the beginning that it had a good, good basis to start from. So, click start.
Start a task.
It says start a task and it backs off the dock. And I'm going to watch. It might pick up GPS on its way over to mow. So. And it looks like we're going to mow over here first. Okay, and right there I'm going to pause it for a moment. Because it is in a spot that I feel pretty confident that it'll pick up GPS pretty quickly. You get used to it. Like I say, I've got hours and hours and hours doing this, so you kind of learn a few things. And you give it a little bit, and if it don't get it, then you just let it continue, and you get it when you can. So I just want to ping it one time just to make sure that it knows exactly where it's at. Go ahead and click continue to let it go ahead and do a little bit more here. I was kind of hoping, since it's kind of hanging out there by the antenna, that it would just flash that GPS for a moment. It would be nice of it. But, it got it. It got GPS. Doesn't realize it's got a pole behind it, but it had GPS long enough so it knows where it's at. And it's off and running. And sometimes it don't realize that there's something to the side of it. and that's what's going on now. It's actually trying to turn into the that cover there. So it will decide to do something else here momentarily, and it will get itself unstuck. I did make a recommendation that if they make another version of this, a new version of this, to put some type of optical flow sensors on the sides so that it can see if it's trying to turn into something. DJI did that on the Mavic Air 2S. They put another set of optical flow sensors on the top of the drone at an angle, so that when you were going forward full speed, your drone tilts a little forward. And so that's what they added a couple of more obstacle avoidance sensors for. Whereas for people that were flying real fast straight into something. But as you see, it doesn't know it's there. If it would back up enough and see it, then it would catch it. See, it thinks it lifted because it, it raised itself up. But if it would just back away or whatever, or do that, turn and make another attempt, it will see it if it keeps trying. It will see it there. See? Now it'll see it there. As long as it can see it, as long as it faces it and can see it, then it can, get a hold of it. But through all that, I don't know that we even locked the GPS, even in that amount of time that was spent with that. So we'll see. See, it keeps wanting to drive into that. And yes, you can set up no-go zones. Like I could set up a no-go zone around that and it wouldn't be fighting it like it is right now. So, but I honestly didn't think it was that necessary, so it figures it out and gets around it. Okay, now you can see it does cut. I mean, that's some thick, high grass there, so I don't expect the world out of that. But. All right, so it shows that it's way off on the map as well. And I say way off, it's not actually off. It is showing that it is cutting now. I've never seen it kind of split the mow like that. This is a first for that. And we're actually getting this spot over here that we failed to get before. That is the spot that I always have the problem with. And I find it very interesting that it did a swipe up top first on the edge, and then it came right to this spot where I've had a problem. So it does mow, but like I said in the earlier video, it's a micro trimmer. It's not a brush hog. So as long as you keep that in mind, you're good. Now, it spun the wheels quite a bit when it took off. So what I want you to pay attention to is it's going to stop short on the other side of things. It's going to stop short. God, I'm so glad it's going through that. See how it stopped a little short? That's because it spun its tires on the other side. I'll tell you what, this thing's doing better this time than I've had it do ever. Like I said, it's mowing in a little bit different order this time, so. This thing's making me proud so far. Wheel spinach, so keep that in mind. There's plenty of wheel spinach. We'll see how it translates over here on the other side of the yard. Nah, about the same. Okay, once again, a lot of wheel spinach, so. And I believe it corrected itself. Yep, it caught GPS. I don't know if you saw that for a second, but I saw a blue light just for a moment. Yes. Hey, I don't know why it's way down here now. Oh, my phone went out, I'm sorry. Okay, now you're gonna see it, it's off the map. It is off where it thinks it is. And the only way that that'll get fixed is if it catches a GPS signal. I don't know if you can tell, but we've already well mowed this area here. We should be several feet over. So I'm not going to interfere. We're going to see if it messes around enough that it can catch a GPS lock so that it can correct itself. If it can't, it's just going to be off. But I have a feeling it might possibly be doing that. It's gonna struggle with stuff like this. You have to be reasonable. I do not have the type of yard for something like this. I really don't. But that, in a sense, works out for you, because like I said, I can show you any little tips and tricks that I can figure out to help you along with your mowing. So I've got some pretty crazy problems it's got to deal with, but see, it's cutting off. It's not in the right spot. It's already mowed this. And until it can ping the GPS, see how far back or this way it is? That's how far off the map it is. This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. If you look on that map, it thinks that it's several feet over to its left. It thinks it's continuing to cut that line, and it's not. And I'm confident at some point it will catch the GPS signal, and you'll see it. The moment that it pings GPS, you will see the mower jump over to where it's supposed to be. But it's got to have that GPS for a moment, or else it can't do it. This is what I was telling you about how I have this gradual slope to my terrain. And the more times that it goes back and forth like that without GPS, the mower is slowly going downhill. And it doesn't catch it because it needs more than the RTK. You see how it's cut in the exact same spot? That's what I was telling you guys about, okay? Again, I'm not cutting the mower down. It can't get GPS because there's a big freaking tree over top of it. I'm not trying to beat on Ecoflow. I'm not trying to beat on the blade. What I'm trying to tell you is that if you have a situation that goes beyond its capability, it's not going to be able to address it. That's what I've got. And it's just, you know, the test is everything. And it tells me flat out on the test that, nah, nah, you better wait, bro. And it tells me that for good reason. That's what I'm trying to tell you folks. I'm not trying to discourage you. If, you know, you only have a minor obstruction or minor obstructions from trees and whatnot, that's fine. As long as it can get open sky enough to ping that GPS once in a while. The problem here, my property, my situation, is the yard isn't big enough really. Well, the yard isn't bigger than the tree canopy. So when it gets stuck under this tree canopy and it can't get a lock, it just keeps doing this. And I believe you're seeing this, right? You see how it's going out into the street? It's not supposed to go out in the street either. Right? And it will get worse. It will continue to get worse. The problem will compound until it gets a GPS lock. And I don't know what to tell anybody beyond that. Again, I'm stressing. I'm not beating on Ecoflow. I'm not beating on the blade. It's just not a fit for my property, okay? The whole reason, the whole intent of me making these videos so you can see this is so that if you have a situation like mine, you don't go out and spend $3,000 for something that's not going to work for you, okay? On the same token, somebody that has little issues here and there, it's not horrible, but it's little issues here and there, right? They might be able to take information that I provide in this video, and they may be able to use that to address their situation so that regardless of the obstacles they have, they can make it work. And that's what I want to see, right? I want this to work for people. Some people it's not going to work for. It is what it is. Can't do anything about that. I'm pretty sure by this point you can tell that we're just mowing over the same section of grass, right? You can tell that it's not going and mowing over there where it's supposed to be at right now. On the map it shows that it's over there right now. In the real world, it's in the same spot that it's been mowing for the past 20 laps because it doesn't know it's that far off. Okay? At some point, you'll see that little tail light blink a little pretty blue, and when it does, you will see it fix itself. But not until then. Not until then. You will see it mow over the exact same spot because the combination of no GPS and the slope fighting the RTK, this is the result. Okay? It is what it is. But you can see how it's slowly going over, right? It is slowly going over, but it's way off from where it's supposed to be. certainly ain't supposed to go out into the street. But see, it's only showing that there's like 2 or 3 more swipes that it has to get. It doesn't like loose gravel, sand, stuff like that. Thought maybe it might have gotten GPS temporarily, but it didn't, because they would have been way up there. You'll know if it does, because they get way up there. Because on the map, it thinks that it's almost done with this side of the yard, and it's not. See how it's going out into the street? See, I'm sorry, but that's unacceptable. The idea is I could be at work at the office or whatever, and I could either schedule this or I could hit that button for it to go and take off and mow my lawn. I can't do that because it goes into the street. It goes into the street. I can't do it. See, and everything's going to be off until it catches a signal. It might be pretty close to the right place on the map. I don't know. Be nice if we could catch GPS for a moment. Feels pretty good, by the way, with that hole in the yard, doesn't it? See, it thinks it's over here in the middle of the yard, and it's not. That's where it thinks it's mowing, is where it left over from last time, but it's not. That's how far off the GPS is. You see where it's at. You see where it says it's at. So you guys tell me, do I not know what I'm talking about or know how to use this? Or I've got hours and hours and hours. So if I take a little bit of offense to people acting like, oh, well, you just didn't use it right. You gotta understand, this is machine number 2, okay? This testing process started last year. So I've been working with, these machines over the course of that period. I mean, there was some off time, but I mean, of course, we didn't do anything in the winter or anything. But I've got time in. I couldn't even begin to think of how many hours of time I've got operating this machine. A lot. So, it's just limitations. If you're in a situation like this to where it can go an extended period of time without getting that GPS lock, you are not going to have good results. And the proof is in the pudding, right? This thing thinks it's over there, okay? It thinks it's over there right now. It thinks it's right here, in here, mowing. Look at the map. This is where it started the line. Right here is where that mower thinks it's at, okay? But it's not. It's right there. And until it can ping that GPS, it has no idea. And what it's trying to do is figure out how it can get to where it needs to mow. That's what the poor thing's trying to do, because it shows it should be mowing all that area. There's a house there. How can it mow where there's a house? How can it mow where there's a tree? Right? Well, it thinks it's somewhere else than what it is. And unless it corrects itself, this is what you get. So, I could sit here and I could go the rest of this mow and let you guys see this. I think I've pretty well made my point at this. I hope I have at this point in time. Again, I'm not attacking Ecoflow. I'm not attacking the blade. I'm saying that my property is not a fit for the blade. If your property is not a fit for the blade, probably not going to be a wise choice. If you don't have these issues, by all means, buy it, use it, love it. I'm telling you, it does that yard over there much better than it does this yard over here, okay? And I don't have near the problems over in that yard at all. It actually does it pretty awesome. So I'm not telling you it's a bad unit. I'm telling you that you need to respect it when it tells you that your yard will not be a good fit. You need to listen to it, and you need to take the test. I know a lot of times people see stuff, they get excited, they get worked up, and they gotta have it. This isn't cheap. I'm gonna be honest with you. And this is gonna sound pitiful, I know, but this lawnmower right now is the most expensive item I own. Period. I don't own anything that costs more than what this lawnmower does. Okay? I'm very careful about my money because I don't have much. Well, I'm just saying, if I would have put out $3,000, I need something that works. See, it's over here, and I know you can't really tell, but we're over in the front part of the yard, right? As far as that's where we're really at in real life. It's showing that it's cutting over there. It's not showing that it's cutting where it's at. It's way off. So, anyway, I just wanted to show you guys. I'm going to go ahead and end the mow now, and you'll see this.
Start recharging.
If it don't pick up GPS signal before it gets docked, it's going to have a hell of a time docking because it has no idea where it's at. See, it thinks you can tell by the app, it literally thinks that it's setting on its darts right next to its dock right now. Now, you tell me, how far away is that mower from its dock? And you look on that app and it tells you that it's sitting on the dock. You tell me. Again, I'm only trying to prevent people from undue frustration, undue cost, and all that stuff. If you don't have these problems, if you don't have the GPS obstacles, if you don't have the sloping yard, if you don't have these crazy issues for it to deal with, you're probably not going to have a problem at all, and this is probably going to work very well for you. But see, it's just sitting here spinning in circles because it has no idea. No idea. No idea. Why? Because it doesn't have GPS. Let me show you this. Before we go, let me show you this. Let me drive it up to the yard, up to the front of the yard where to get a GPS lock. So that it can figure out where it's at. No. And then once it figures out where it's at, and it knows, then I'll send it to its base. But without that GPS lock, you're going to have nothing but problems. Try to get it to lock GPS here. At sometimes facing it this direction helps out more, at other times facing it forward works better, and other times facing it this way works better. Don't ask me. But believe me, when you sit out here for hours trying to get a GPS lock, there we go. Now watch. I'm going to go back and I'm going to click continue. What? And it yelled at me about having obstacles on the recharging ground. But you're going to see it take off and it's going home. You see how it's having no problem finding where it belongs, finding where it lives? Huh. But you see how long it took for me to get that GPS lock to be able to give it that data to know where it was at. Now see, it's off. The reason why it's off is because it doesn't have a GPS lock. But we're closer. We're closer. And now the blade can start utilizing not only the GPS, but also its other tools in the toolbox to be able to get itself on the dock. It's going to use other sensors as well, besides the GPS. But it's got to be close enough to do it, you know. If it doesn't think it's close enough, or if it thinks it's closer and it's not, then it's not going to work. See?
Start charging.
Start charging. We're all good. But you had to let it get that GPS signal. Folks, I'm not pooping on Ecoflow, and I'm not pooping on the blade. I'm pooping on my property. Okay? That's all. And I want folks to know about the limitations, and I also want them to know about the little tips and tricks that I've picked up that try to help it out. So if your issues aren't quite as bad as what my issues are, then maybe you can use some of my tips and make it work for you. That's all I'm trying to show you. Hope you all have a great day, and shalom.